Hey, Cougar fans, Sam Brief here with a very exciting edition of Cougar Chats. Today, I've got the big tuna, Elliott Charles, the new athletic director of Chicago State University. Elliott, welcome in.
Thank you, Sam. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Pleasure to be with you too, and really excited to start this journey with you. Now, I want to get into your background a little bit, but first, since you're stepping into this role for the first time, you're someone with a big vision for this program, this athletic department. I want you to start in 5 words or less to just describe your vision for Chicago State athletics.
So since I'm stepping into this role, I'm going to say, I'm sprinting into it. So my 5 words or less are sprinting to a championship. I'm busting out the block, Sam. I mean, I'm not stepping slow, man. We're trying to knock it down and get things done here, man. And that requires a lot of intentional action.
We've been using the hashtag our championship era. What does that phrase mean to you?
What it means to me, it's an opportunity to create culture, create history that everyone can be part of. An era is usually defined after the fact, right? So I want people to look back on their personal moments, their contributions, and say, I had a part in that. And hopefully that comes with some hardware, right? Some rings, some plaques, some commemorative balls, things that make sense and mean something to somebody, a legacy that's left behind, just a substantive experience, life-changing opportunity for our students, so our championship era, not mine, not yours, it's ours, right? And I want us to be able to look back years from now and talk about how we all played a part in the foundation.
Why Chicago State? Why this job? Why did you take it?
Chicago means a lot to me. And it's not just Chicago, right? The opportunity to really have an impact in the South Side, to be part of economic change, to really hone in on the issues that impact the Black community, the Hispanic community, the Latinx community, to hone in on the issues that impact the citizens of Chicago, and to look at Chicago State as an epicenter for that change is incredible for me. When you look at some of the change and some of the change agents in the area and the efforts that have been going on for years here, to be able to bring my talents in the form of being the athletic director here is a godsend. I try to tell people, and I know I shouldn't say this, but if I didn't have a family, right, third baby coming, I'd probably do this for free. Man, I love this. I love this more than I like to admit, because my wife thinks I love it more than her sometimes. But the students mean a lot to me. I tell you, for me, leaving the University of South Florida, going to grad school at Illinois State, going to get my MBA in Northern Illinois, I'd always been around Chicago State, and it's great people here. It's great people looking to make an impact locally in the community. It's also interesting when you talk about our student athletes that come from all around the world and all around the country. They come here and they make it home, right? They come here and they think about how they can contribute to the communities as well. They fire me up. I was talking to my Cougars League cohort the other day, and our SAC president just gives an awesome perspective on what Chicago State has done for her as a student and what she's grown into, what she's become and what she has to offer. So those stories, man, that's why I do it. And I think coming to Chicago State's a very unique experience. And that's why I'm part of it right now. We can do some cool things here that we can't do anywhere else.
And you'll do it for free?
I think we'll get to a point. You got to raise the money first, before I can do it for free. So.
And also, congratulations. You have a third on the way. That's exciting. When's that coming up?
Little baby girl, end of January, at the latest, start of February.
Okay, so you'll get into 2021 with that. And
oh, yeah.
2020 has been a weird year, so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah. It'll be my second baby girl. My first baby is my daughter, Lily. This little baby will be fun. This will be like a real life doll for her, to follow her around everywhere.
Well, congratulations to you, your wife, your whole family. Now, I want to touch on something that you mentioned in your answer to my last question about how you see Chicago State as potentially being an agent of change in the Black community on the South Side in Chicago. And this has been a really interesting summer in a lot of ways. Obviously, it's been heartbreaking to see some of the police brutality that's been occurring around the country, that has for a long time. And there is a lot of change happening, and this feels like a movement that has gained a lot of steam this summer. How do you see your role and Chicago State's role in that larger movement?
Mhm. So talking first about my role, it's time to kneel down or sit at the knees of those who have been doing this. Right, there's some incredible civil rights activists, legislators, civic persons, just community leaders who've been doing this for years. So it's time to listen, right? Like nobody has all of the answers. And for me, that opportunity for Chicago State is even broader. When you look at our student population and who we serve, the stories that come behind, students finishing their degree programs here and starting their careers, I just think it's an opportunity to think about what our sphere of influence is within our jobs, how we participate, volunteer, whatever around Chicago State, and take the moment to listen and learn about what's been done and how we can continue those efforts. I don't think it's time to make it up or work outside of our scope. I think it's really an important opportunity here for us to all come together and have really good conversations. And a university, a robust university, is a place to do that, to sit down and have some really great conversations about changing the community around us.
And so much of it is education, right? And that's
Right.
obviously what, at its core, a university is meant for. And that's something I've learned throughout this summer, is that educating yourself and listening to people is such an important part of it. So I think this is an exciting time for Chicago State too, to play a role in that education, right?
Most definitely. I couldn't agree with you more. I've been a lifelong learner. We promote education in my household. In athletics, part of our changing championship era culture is about investing your resources and your time into bettering you in the department. And the only way you do that, the first step is to being open, right, to receiving information and sharing. So I'm trying to make that a core part of our culture and a standard for everything we do.
And Elliott, you alluded to the fact that you're a lifelong learner. And in your professional career, you've had a whole bunch of pit stops before coming to Chicago State. You were most recently at Clemson. You've spent time at Alabama. You mentioned you got your degree Northern Illinois and also Illinois State and University of South Florida. You've been all over the map, and now you're here leading an athletic program. What are some of the key tenets that you've learned in those pit stops along the way?
Mm. I think I'll default back to a conversation we had with our mentor, our Cougars League group yesterday about mentorship. One of the key things I've learned is that identifying mentors, identifying people who you want to emulate because of those qualities that you aspire to have is key. Developing authentic relationships that are objective and also based in professional, tasking, but at the same time, leave room for getting to know people and love people is important. I think at the end of the day, trying to communicate clearly, trying your best to communicate clearly, trying your best to listen, trying your best to understand where people are coming from culturally is key as well. I think also understanding commonality across the board doesn't cause you to be ignorant, right? Like if you're able to identify how people are similar, how populations are similar, you kind of unlock a hidden key to agile ways of doing a job, right? You become an expert. And so, when I started to see the types of needs that come across different populations across all universities and communities where I've worked, it's helped me lend something new or something better to the next school I've come to. I try to be fearless. I think sometimes when people are very cordial and respectful, sometimes that can get lost as tentativeness or being afraid. But I try to inspire people to be fearless and to be relentless in achieving goals. For me, I don't give up. I don't give up, and I think I've learned that through being able to put myself and my family out there. Do I want to keep on moving forever? No, right? Like it was somewhat intentional. I said, we would go to our limit of moving, and we would eventually settle down where we could offer a whole lot to the community. And I think we've done a great start to that here in my first year, and we want to continue that, you know.
What's it been like in your first year to have to deal with COVID and all the schedule changes and having everything in flux that you've had to deal with?
Well, I think this is a moment of commonality. It's a great example of what I was just talking about, where we can all come together. I think athletics has been known to be kind of a career path that never turns off, for the good and for the bad. You know, we've heard those ESPN 30 for 30 stories about people who, you know, drink and live athletics through and through. And, you know, you and I, we've been in it, right? And so I think now other people in other industries or in other areas of higher ed may now understand what it's like to almost have that on-call, you know, lack of work-life balance. And so now we're kind of, we feel like we're in the trenches with everybody. I think people have a better understanding of the complexity of trying to steward the student-athlete experience. But to put it simply, I think people understanding the plight makes it a little bit easier. The challenge of the pandemic has been the fact that the experience is still, it can be challenging, as in it's hard to turn it off. You know, I never would have thought that I got to the point where, you know, actually showing up, being at the office, you know, more kind of, it started to give me less of a feeling of anxiety, right? At home, you know, that's become my work life at home too. And so I've tried to be intentional over the past 3-4 months during the pandemic about how to keep, you know, things in their lanes. But starting off in a place where I got here a month before the pandemic, 2 months before it started kicking off was interesting. I didn't come into this job knowing that any of these challenges were going to be here, but I did come in with an open mind, which has helped me kind of survive through it all. It's helped me lead through it all. And I don't know, man, I stick with my daily encouragement here that I read. I'll put it back up. It's just a Christian kind of devotional that helps me analyze what I'm doing daily, and I keep it on my desk, you know.
Do you have some sort of motto that you live by or a saying?
I have a lot, and some of them have expletives, so I'll keep it clean
How
for
about you tell
this.
those? You can tell me after the interview some of the.
Yeah, I'm just joking. I think for me, the model that I live by is just love first, love in the moment. My parents celebrated, you know, their 40th anniversary this year, and I actually, you know, wrote them a little song about loving in the moment. Guitar is one of the things that I picked up through this pandemic, lifelong learner, and yeah, actually a little bit before the pandemic, I won't lie. And you know, I think for me, I've told my wife, you know, when you can love in the moment, time stops. And when time stops, we can understand kind of what that infinite approach to existing is. And, you know, I try to love all of my passions in the moment. And so love in the moment's like a really big thing to me, you know.
And Elliott, looking back at your past, 2 of your stops, including your most recent in Clemson, you've been around someone in the athletic department who is virtually a household name in America, right? At Alabama, you've got the mystique of Alabama football and Nick Saban. And then you just came from Clemson, where you've got Dabo Swinney, and you talk about championships, had that at the football level. So for people who, you know, don't know a lot about those 2 football programs and those 2 men, what did you take from those experiences?
Well, you only named 2 of them, right? Like, there was Dick Tomey.
Right.
There was the people that weren't just the men. You know, there was the ADs, Dan Radakovich. You know, I got to work with the deputies, the Shane Lyons of the world. You know, the Mal Moore, you know, legendary ADs, mentors like Milton Overton, the great people in the associations that I served, like Shoshana Angle. You know, like I got so many people. I don't want to leave anybody off the list, but like, I guess what I'm getting at is I learned that through those strong leaders, it's not just about the leader. You learn about the people that they selflessly promote and selflessly, you know, care for. Those people are the people that make the image of the leader great, right? Like it's those executive assistants, those you know, people, communication professionals, those those people that just give all their time and love, those sports medicine professionals, and then volunteers, retirees. There's just so many people that come together as a community. And, you're lucky I'm sitting at my desk. Like, I'll tell you, like, to keep it fun and exciting, it results in having access to things like this, right? Like national championship ring, and then Coach Saban, had his assistant, Linda Leone, reach out to me, like when I moved to Cleveland and gave me a game ball for the national championship at LSU, never going to overstate my relationships, though. I think, when you talk about the Woody McCorveys and the people that serve as the right-hand people to those folks, I just learned that it's super important to care for people and love them, and to rely on people's expertise to make the university great is what I learned from all of them.
Elliott, I want to learn from you now. I want to get inside. How's the lightning round sound?
Oh, I'm nervous. My hands just started sweating. Let's do it.
Here we go. Lightning round time with the AD, Elliott Charles. All right, let's start with this because you alluded to them earlier. What's your favorite ESPN 30 for 30?
Oh my gosh, why would you ask me that? So really loved Benji. Really love Benji because I was always curious about, like, I'm really into 80s and 90s basketball. I used to read Street and Smith's Basketball Almanac growing up. And so to learn about the greats that are, exited early, people that didn't get, they were going to be great, that they just didn't get to, live the life or put in the stats. It's always pretty cool to me to learn the background story. And then to learn all the people that were connected to the life of Benji through that story, and all the people that had something to say, whether it was Nick Anderson, former, big time NBA player that I watched growing up in Florida when he played for Orlando Magic, whether it was our former coaches here or anybody else from the city or people from around the country. It was just an amazing story that tells you so much about the plight, of living through some of the tough times and violence in the South Side and stuff like that. So, but it was also encouraging to see all the people that played a part in the life of Benji.
That's a gem of a 30 for 30. I enjoyed that one as well. What's the best invention of all time?
The best invention of all time it has to be one of the iterations of the fusion propulsion engine that NASA is working on. I think it's going to be key to the future. It's just when you accelerate fast enough on a fusion engine, I wonder how you ever turn it off to stop, right? How many times you have been around a planet or Mars to eventually land, right?
Right. It's hard enough to brake from going 60 miles an hour in a car. How do you turn that thing off?
Yeah, you better make sure you're sticking to your maintenance schedule.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of NASA, you're going to move tomorrow to a new planet, and you have to pick one in our galaxy. Where do you move?
One in our galaxy? I don't even know if I'm familiar with the naming of all of them. I'd have to say I'm going to stick to one that is Earth-like. And so actually, it may be more of a moon than a planet. I'd probably figure out one of those moons around Jupiter. I don't know if Europa, I don't know if they figured that one out yet.
All right. A Jupiter moon.
Yeah, planet-like moons. Yeah.
All right. Jupiter's got a lot of storms. I don't know if you want to be so close to the storms.
Well, I don't know. We got a lot of issues on Earth right now. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Well, hey, you're moving tomorrow, so there you go. Back to Earth. What's your favorite season?
Fall.
And why is that?
Early fall reminds me of when I grew up in New York and New Jersey, and it's football, weather's changing. You still have to put on a jacket, but you can be stylish. My birthday's September. So it's fall, you're living it, right? You're coming off the summer excitement. I kind of got music playing. You see me dancing a little bit, and then you're moving into the fun season of holidays. Fall is excellent.
Well, happy fall to you.
Oh, appreciate it.
How do you like your steak cooked?
Oh, that is a great question. So you asked me that question because I got a little size to me. No. I'm bad. I kind of do medium well. It depends on the cut. If it's a certain type of steak, if it's a fattier steak, I'm gonna do medium well. If it's more of a lean cut, I'll just kind of go medium.
Okay, I like how you admit that you're bad by doing that. I'm a medium rare guy myself.
Excellent.
Elliot, if you had to pick a liquid other than water to jump into a pool of right now, what liquid would you choose?
I'm gonna pick something that doesn't burn my eyes. I think it would be fun if it was strawberry milk,
Okay,
as long as nobody else is in there, right? Like
that does sound fun.
strawberry milk.
That does sound fun. That's a delicious drink, by the way. I don't think I've had that since I was like 7. So I might have to go run to like a 7-Eleven and grab some.
All you gotta do is clap your arms, and all of a sudden you're in a shake. You know.
Right. Okay, now using an Australian accent, I want you to tell me your favorite flavor of ice cream.
Hey, mate, my favorite ice cream is I don't know. Hey,
You
mate,
broke character.
my favorite ice cream is I don't know, pistachio.
All right, pretty good. We'll give you the C minus on the accent, but an A plus on the flavor. A plus on the flavor.
Excellent,
All
excellent.
right. Last question for you. Favorite pro sports team?
Whew. So all of my close circle of friends knows I'm more of a follow an athlete type guy. Um, I grew up loving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was my hometown team at the time. And I would say though, right now, Chicago Bulls, man, I'm excited about Coach Billy Donovan. Like this is gonna be incredible. I'm like, I don't know about you and I don't know about the draft. But you gotta admit the Bulls, man, it's looking up at this point. I'm excited.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time. I think Donovan was an awesome hire.
I do too. I do too.
Future's bright for the
Yes.
Bulls, for your hometown Tampa Bay Bucks, probably, and also for us here at Chicago State. So, Elliot, really thank you for joining me. It's great to get to know you and have you on Cougar Chats.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam.